Hi, my name is Aubrey Henken. I am a junior at Point Park University, and I am studying broadcast reporting as well as broadcast production and media management. Well, my freshman year of college, I went to Kutztown University, and I had noticed that during the second semester at Kutztown, I was having weird pains in my stomach, so I went to get it checked out one weekend, and my doctor said that I had ulcerative colitis. So they just put me on medication that I took twice a day. It was like 4 pills a day. And that seemed to get it under control for the rest of that semester and even for the rest of the year. So then I had transferred to Point Park for my sophomore year. And the symptoms were totally fine that entire year that I actually stopped taking the medication that I was prescribed back at Kutztown because nothing was wrong. Like I wasn't getting sick, I was able to hold down food and everything like that. So I stopped taking the medication, and then it was the last day of my sophomore year at Point Park that I was moving out, and I was actually waiting for my dad to come up and help me push the little red bin out of my room, and I got this excruciating pain in my stomach, and I had to lay down on my empty, not covered bed because I was moving out, and I waited for my dad, and my friend Emily had to actually let him into the building because I couldn't even get up to let him in the building, and I was telling him, I was like, something's really wrong. And so basically I just moved out that day, and then that night after the 5-hour car ride back to Philadelphia, I was in the hospital that night. And they were telling me that I was having a really bad flare-up of ulcerative colitis, even though I hadn't had anything for over a year. And so basically they put me on some steroids, and I was in the hospital for about a week until the flare-up calmed down, and then I was sent back home. And everything was fine, and then at the end of summer, it came back, and it just got worse. And I had signed up to go to my junior year at Point Park, and the pain was just really bad. So I was actually at Point Park. I had moved in to my hall for the junior year, and it was actually that Sunday night right before Monday classes started that the pain started again. And I was like, uh-oh. I was hoping that it would go away, but it just didn't go away. And so that Monday, I only made it to one class my junior year. And then later that night, I was in the hospital again at the UPMC hospital, and my dad came and met me there. And they told me that I was having another flare-up of ulcerative colitis, and it just wasn't getting better, so I was in that hospital for about a week, and at that point I just wanted to go home and see my mom because she was still in Philadelphia. And so they were like, well, there's nothing else we can do, so I ended up going back home and missing my entire first week of classes. And I went back home that night, and I went to my local hospital that had seen me before. And they were like, yeah, you definitely are having an ulcerative colitis flare-up, but you also have C. diff, which is a really, really bad infection of the colon. And it can cause sepsis and death and everything, so the hospital was really worried. So they put me on a crap ton of antibiotics and steroids and all these different kind of drugs and stuff like that, and they weren't letting me eat or anything like that, and it just wasn't getting better at all. And I was in the hospital for the entire month of September. And they finally let me go home, but then in IVs, I was getting fed through IVs and stuff like that, and they let me go home. And then later that night I ended up coming back in for a really bad pain in my side, and because of all the medication I had gotten a blood clot. So on top of ulcerative colitis and C. diff and all of the other stuff I was going on, I got 3 blood clots too. So then I was in the hospital for a few more weeks, and then finally towards the end of December they were like, the medication's not working, we have to remove your colon. Okay, so this is the colostomy bag, and it has an opening right there. And then what they did was they rearranged your small intestine, so part of it is sticking out, and that's the part that gets rid of the waste. So part of your small intestine is sticking out, which is what goes into this hole. And then you empty it through this little thing. You just open it up, and then you empty it. It's kind of hard. Annoying at times, but yeah, and then you just kind of empty it and then clean it up and then roll it back up and close it again, and then it sticks to your body with this thing. So this is really sticky once you peel this off, and then you have to cut the size of whatever part of you is sticking out. You cut it out, and then you just stick it on and then stick that on, and then that's how it worked. My parents were spectacular. I would not have been able to go through any of that without my parents. They were there every night. My dad got to the hospital at 7 a.m., and then my mom got there around noon. So my dad was there from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., and then my mom was there from noon to midnight. So I had someone with me for the majority of the day, except for when I was sleeping. at night. So if it wasn't for them, I would not have been able to do that. They held my hand the entire time. So when I was finally able to come back to Point Park, I had to redo my junior year since I missed the entirety of that school year. So I'm now a junior, even though I should be a senior. But that's okay, because a lot of my friends are juniors now, so it worked out. But honestly, the first day back, since I had missed, the year I got sick, I was only able to go to one class that year. The first day of classes, I was really nervous. I was like, I better make it through all my classes. But I made it through, and I was really excited, and I knew that this was going to be a good year. And then everyone was really welcoming, saying like, oh, you're the sick girl, and you're Aubrey. And I'm like, yeah, I missed last year, but I'm back. And then Tom Baggerman, my advisor, actually told me about an opening to be the president of the broadcast club here on campus. And I knew, like, when I was stuck in the hospital, I knew that I wanted to get back to school and like run. Like, I knew that I wanted to get back in my positions. I wanted to run my own entertainment news show. Like, I wanted to get back in the business as if I didn't miss last year at all. But so far so good. I've been very healthy. I mean, as I said, I only get a few pains a day, but I can handle it. Nothing can knock me down after that year and a half in the hospital, so.